Yeah, I mean it's the best time of the year. Football's back, so I think this is going to be a super Bengals heavy episode. So we might hit on some FC and some Reds at the end of this, maybe. But right now, I just wanted to start off with our season expectations. I feel like we haven't really gotten to hit on that. I've done my prediction on multiple different places on Twitch and YouTube, but I kind of want to hit on you guys. Do you guys have any kind of season prediction when it comes to win losses? Who you think's going to be the best player? Maybe somebody who's going to disappoint. Just what do you guys think?
Uh, Responsibly, I think the over on wins is a lot. I think it's
What is
I
it
still
at?
I've been it's like 9.5.
Slam it.
Yeah, like yeah, everyone likes to talk about the regression thing, and last year was a fluke. I personally don't believe that, but yeah, I think we're going to be pretty tough to beat this year.
Yeah, and I'm kind of in the same boat. I have always been kind of the humble, conservative person when it comes to the Bengals. I definitely think it's way over 9.5. I think they're the better team in a majority of their games, give or take maybe a few. And even in those few, it's more of like toss up. Like the other team could be better, the Bengals could be better. I'm just expecting it to be an electric offense, a very fun team, a very close knit group. I just hope that they can build off of last year. I'm really excited for this team. I'm really excited to see everybody. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the shocking thing to me about the regression is no one kind of brings up the fact that this team has so much room to grow. I would say, especially the offense side of the ball. I think if you're gonna see a regression, you'll see it on the defensive side of the ball. The offense side of the ball, they were very inconsistent, and I think everybody agrees with that. As well, they were explosive. I'll give them that, but obviously you could see some regression in that. But same thing could be said for a team like the Chargers, who's also an explosive offense. You don't hear anybody talking about that. But when you look at the Bengals, I could definitely see some regression in the big plays. But what we really are looking for is more consistency. Like they struggled so heavily in the short yardage when they couldn't run the ball at all on third and short. They pretty much had to throw it the entire time. So that's something that I think is going to be a huge improvement, especially with the offense.
Yeah, like people that didn't watch the Bengals last year, people don't realize that this offense was pretty hard to watch for the like what until at least the bye. Like
Yeah.
it would be they would start slow. They just relied solely on big plays. They couldn't put drives together. And I heard someone say it, and I kind of agreed last year. The big thing about like last year's Bengals team, and people want to call going to the Super Bowl a fluke and all that. Realistically, I think it was just they were a year ahead of schedule. Like they were super young, and but they were able to get there or get into the playoffs, and then they kind of figured out on the fly how to win these big games through the back half of the year and into the playoffs, which is where you would have anticipated the Bengals being this year. Where this year was okay, we've been there before. We know how to win these games, so kind of the sky's the limit.
Yeah, and I think a big thing too, everybody talks about how the explosive plays could have been a fluke. I think they have a better chance this year to be more explosive. You think about the rinky dink offensive line they threw out there last year. I mean, think about how much more time there's going to be for him to scramble. The some of the plays that come to mind, like Joe scrambling and hitting Jamar after running around for a while for a touchdown. Like, could we see more of those because there's more time? And you get another year of Joe, having an actual off season. Screw the appendicitis. Like, I think the off season work that he was able to put in is great, but I can't see a world where they regress to being an average offense. It's way too talented. There's too many playmakers. Like Eli said, I could see the defense regressing a little bit, but even the defense is more talented than last year's team. And all these guys are just getting more experience. And then plus you add an explosive athlete like Dax Hill. He may be the person that just completed that. So it'll be interesting to see, but I'm not buying into any of the regression hype. I think they can only be better than last year.
Yeah, completely agree with that. I think the only I don't understand any of the logic when people have us winning less than 9 games at all. Because if you're doing that, you're assuming the Bengals are getting swept by the entire division, which just isn't happening. The AFC North really doesn't happen like that. mostly you're going to split everybody and then probably sweep one, maybe two teams. It's really hard to sweep the entire division, especially right now. Every team's, well, I would say the Browns were kind of competitive, but now with Jacoby Brissett, that's a huge question mark. The Ravens seem to be on the come up with less injuries. They better hope that they at least put up a fight, because if they are healthy and then we still shellac them, they will never hear the end of it. And then the Steelers, I mean, you have Mitch Trubisky, so you never really know with that. But besides that, like some easy games I see on the schedule. I mean, the Jets are going to be easy. Falcons aren't going to be hard. Panthers easy. I think the Patriots later in the year, I'm not too worried about that. I'm fine playing Mac Jones. And I mean, you have a game like the Titans, which I don't see being as challenging. You don't have that versatile receiver like AJ Brown out there. I mean, I just think there's so many games. I mean, the Saints even could be an easier game. I'm not sure if I really trust that offense yet. You don't really know what you're going to get with Michael Thomas. You have Jarvis Landry. You have some rookies. I mean, you just have no idea. There's too many question marks on the schedule for me to think that the under is hitting even close to.
Yeah, like I just I don't know, like the whole regression thing too. Like to me, like we're gonna be a better team. That doesn't necessarily mean I think we're a shoe in to make a Super Bowl. I just like we're gonna be more consistent. And like I just think overall they'll be better. They lost a lot of games. They lost some games last year. They like I still scratch my head about, and I was like, what were we doing? What was that Bengals team that showed up? But yeah, I mean, in schedule's interesting. Healthy Ravens are going to be super tough. Steelers, I think they're going to have better quarterback play from last year. Like Big Ben was atrocious. He was just a statue. I think Mitch will give them better quarterback play, and they're always super tough. And I mean, I don't know. I'm just excited to get like actually into football again. Like I just wanna watch football all day.
And another thing going off of the regression, I don't know if some of these people actually believe that. It's just not cool to like the Bengals. I mean, we saw that last year.
Yeah,
Like, good, and no one even accepted it until like, oh shit, you're in the Super Bowl. Like, oh okay, like I guess you might be kind of good. Like, no one accepted it until you go on the road and beat the Titans, you beat the Chiefs, and like now you're just somehow in the Super Bowl, and like, oh okay, now we'll figure out you're one of the best teams in the league. But you don't hear any of this about the Rams. The Rams
no,
returned pretty much the same team. The Bengals added. I don't understand where the disconnect. Maybe the Rams regression is that the NFC is just trash. I mean, it's
that's
all
fair.
horrible.
Look at the Chargers.
It is non-competitive at all. And
Everyone
then
loves
some
the
of the Char-
Chargers.
yeah,
They didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah,
yeah, they just. I mean, they made some big additions, but I mean, so did the Bengals. Think about that too. Like, they added every piece that everyone was saying they had to add, and now it's okay. They can't be as good as last year. Like, I don't understand that. I don't buy into it. So
yeah. Kind of going off what you said, Jake. I love the comparison to the Chargers, because I think a lot of people are already crowning them as maybe winning the West. And when you look at it, I think the Bengals added more of a crucial piece in Lyle Collins than I think the Chargers did, arguably with J.C. Jackson or Khalil Mack. I feel like that was a much bigger piece to the continued success for the Bengals than I think either of those will be. Maybe J.C. Jackson, not because he's a little bit younger, but Khalil Mack's probably got 2 good years maybe left into him, and then he's already kind of been a shell of himself. But yeah, I haven't really bought in on the regression thing either. But